Mhm.
This is Shayna,
And Kris.
and we are Bad Queers. If you came out of the closet and got put in a box of stereotypes you don't belong to, then welcome to the Bad Queers Club.
All right, this week in Queer Urban Dictionary, I have hundred footer. A hundred footer is a queer person, specifically a lesbian that you could spot from 100 feet away. So my sentence is she was easily seen as a hundred footer. Those Calvin Klein briefs peeking out from her sagging joggers were a dead giveaway.
Mm,
Mhm.
that is a very specific spotting. Yes.
It's
Yes,
a,
yes.
it's something. It's not nothing.
It's
It's
not.
something. It's not nothing, but it's something. So
Calvin Klein doesn't even know.
they don't know.
They don't know.
Yeah.
So unfortunate.
Yeah. I feel like Tommy Hilfiger at some point has acknowledged like the black community, especially hip hop, like elevating his brand. But Calvin
Hmm.
Klein owes studs some checks.
A lot.
A lot,
Hmm.
a lot, a lot. They will always sell boxers, bralettes, all the, sports bra type. They will have an audience.
They
So
do. They do.
yeah.
High paying audience.
They'll do it.
Oh, yeah.
We'll do it. I have some. We'll do it. Not they'll. Will.
You're like, I am,
I'm
I
in
am the
this group.
audience.
I am a part of this group. So, right, like currently. So, yeah, will.
So
Shayna,
funny.
what you got?
I came across this and said the people probably need to know that this exists. So, because our queer urban dictionary doesn't just follow happy, fluffy words.
Hmm.
And so, my queer urban dictionary word of the week is punk.
Okay.
Punk is a smaller, younger gay man who, in prison settings, is forced into a submissive role and used for the older inmate's sexual experience
Okay.
and sexual
Because
pleasure.
I was like, what punk? Because I feel like punk has so many different meanings.
So
So
many.
I was like, which punk is
If
this
you
going
go
to
on
be?
Urban Dictionary, it just continues.
I bet
Just
there's a
continues.
punk is versatile.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
that's what punk is. So the sentence that I got this from was from Urban Dictionary, where they said, "Oh, look at these two jockers out here fighting over a punk," which I'll
Dockers.
have to circle back on what jockers is. So
Hmm.
make it a mini series. So the more
Yeah.
you know, the
I
more
was
you
like, yeah, I
know.
don't think Jockers hit Virginia. It might have skipped over us.
Maybe,
At least it didn't. I didn't
maybe
grow up with Jockers being a thing. Maybe it was out there.
next
Jockers.
next time. I got y'all.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna praise, pray tell.
Mm.
The category is we got a
Feels
lot of
right.
news.
Does it
Gotta
feel right every
I
time? Like,
just
each and
let
every
me
time that we build
continue
on this. Okay.
talking about the
Just checking
things.
in. Just wanted to check in with you. Okay. Let me know.
One day,
Let me know.
well, once we get to
Let me know.
a few weeks of this, so we're gonna praise, pray tell. Category is we've got news on updates. So our first category is Missouri is now doing some dumb shit. After they had a high moment where they had a really homophobic person who was running for Congress who just got slaughtered in the polls, didn't even get like 10% of the polls. And now Missouri is requiring proof of gender reassignment surgery for trans people to update their IDs. So this comes from Here's Why Kevin. So thank you for the updates, Kevin. And we'll see you on the podcast soon. Missouri has introduced a bizarre new rule that requires trans people to show proof of surgery before the state will allow them to update their government issued IDs to reflect their gender identity. Transgender identity is obviously not about surgery. Approximately 25 to 35% of trans people have undergone gender reassignment surgeries. So this is as much a personal choice as well as a financial one, as well as an accessibility one. And it's none of the government's business. So this has gone into play recently, and we'll probably be hearing more about this as it gets rolled out.
Mm. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah. I mean, look, they're going to continue their work. So, election or not.
Okay.
And that's their agenda. So when we're asking people about policy, that's what they're doing. So
That's the
on that
stuff that they're
side,
paying attention to.
that's what they're doing on their side. So
Hmm.
Mm,
So
what
yes,
else? I'm sure it doesn't get better.
no, it
No,
really doesn't. Our
no.
next category is Lowe's. Among the list of companies, the latest company to dial back
Pause.
on their DEI efforts aimed at LGBTQ groups. So, from NBC News, the home goods retailer Lowe's is paring back its efforts to promote LGBTQ inclusion, the latest large company to respond to a growing cultural backlash led by conservatives targeting queer representation in public life. In an internal company memo being widely shared among media organizations, Lowe's told employees it was ending its participation in surveys for the Human Rights Campaign, the country's largest LGBTQ advocacy group, and would also combine company resource groups designed to support minority employees to one umbrella organization. So if you think of like employee resource groups where folks can go into identity-based spaces, bring up issues to their company and then have those issues worked on, but also have a safe space. Also because it's a large company, host parties, events, go to prides, do all the things. Those are just going to, instead of being their own identity-based groups, they're just going to all be under a single umbrella because that's what they
Because
said they're going to do. Though some media reports suggested Lowe's was reversing its diversity efforts overall, the changes appear to specifically target the LGBTQ community and LGBTQ representation. Lowe's has previously earned awards as a diversity champion and earned a perfect score in HRC's most recent corporate equity index that examines its policies protecting LGBTQ workers. I don't know if you can like go and take that back or not. But who knows? So Lowe's reversal shows a conservative push against queer rights that began with Target, Bud Light in previous years, and continues, and has helped clarify that the campaign against quote unquote woke is more often than not an effort to silence LGBTQ voices.
I
Lowe's
see
is
here
not the
the
only.
conservative activist that is leading this. I feel like this is such a Hollywood name, but his name is Robbie Starbuck, who has led boycotts of he did Lowe's, Tractor Supply, Harley Davidson, and then John Deere. So he's like going around company to company doing this. Robbie
Honestly,
Starbuck.
Starbuck. Do you
Starbuck.
think he gets any
Robbie
money?
Starbuck. I mean,
It's close.
Look, some
Is that why
conservative group
Starbucks
is paying
became an
him.
S?
Yeah, maybe. Listen, I was like,
And yeah,
Robbie
no,
Starbuck.
a
That is
bunch of
quite a
conservative
name.
groups are paying him, just running him the
Mhm.
checks.
Yeah, go attack this stuff. That is crazy.
Yeah, he figured out the equation. This is like his boy math of how he
Hmm.
can get all of these efforts to be removed from these different companies.
I gotta send you a picture of him. It is very much like this is
Oh my God.
this guy is handpicked, probably had like a YouTube channel, and they were like, hey, just do this because he's about what you would think he is. But Robbie Starbuck. Robbie
Robbie
Starbuck.
Starbuck.
Yeah.
Like, is he the reason that Starbuck became Starbucks?
I mean, they would probably want to distance themselves, I'm sure. Like, listen, we got enough going on.
Who knows?
I mean,
I was like, the people are still fighting
yeah.
Starbucks anyway.
So yeah, Robbie Starbuck for DEI right now. And then who was the guy for, was it Larry Bloom for affirmative action? He was
Hey,
a
Larry.
conservative. Yeah, well, Larry something. I'll look it up. But yeah, it's interesting how these movements are led by, one person that's well funded by conservative groups that want to stop this because there's
Yep.
like no reason to get rid of DEI programs. Like what has been done? Like what,
Right.
it happened with affirmative action too. Like what I mean, it helped a little bit, but this is a decades long problem. So like didn't solve anything.
Yeah.
The people it was intended to benefit did not benefit from it the most. So it's telling you it's they'll do stuff and then they'll undo it. Like this affirmative action wasn't perfect anyway, but it was like a way to try and undo all the years and decades of systematic oppression and just the discrimination across the board in higher education and economic opportunities. So
Hmm.
to like undo that and it wasn't perfect is like crazy.
Right.
Like,
And we're already starting to see the fallout from that with universities returning back to schools, and we're starting to see what the new registration and acceptance rates were amongst
it's
anybody who would
crazy.
fit under a DEI lens at a university campus, and how those numbers are already way lower because they don't have to follow any of those guidelines.
Yeah. It
What a
is
time.
Larry.
Yep,
Larry
Larry and
Plum.
Robbie.
Robbie Starbuck. Like Larry looks like he used to be a lawyer, but
Uh-huh.
Robbie Robbie looks like he was teaching how to men how to romance women in like a sleazy way. Like
He was
ignore
the
your
opposite of
queen.
Hitch.
Yeah, ignore your queen. Wait until her self-esteem is low. Like all that kind of like
Like when you
crazy.
swoop in
Yeah, like
right
sleazy
after the
con man
breakup.
guy. Go to a wedding, go to a funeral. Like that kind of guy. So, but hey, these are the people out here like doing these things. It's not, from top down. Like we look at Trump and his folks, but it's like there's got a team and a gang of folks that are committed to undo equity, equality, and just steps at it because affirmative action wasn't even, again, perfect. But now they're going after DEI. So, mm-mm-mm. Robbie Starbuck.
Robbie Starbuck.
Surely there's some positive news that
Yes.
we can
Yes.
end
You know,
on.
I just wanted to be sure that we were all up to date. I wanted to be sure we were
Yeah.
all up to date when I picked these stories.
Yeah.
So, the
Isn't it
last
funny how we had a
positive
joyful summer,
we
like
did.
good stuff? I feel like we had
We
a
did.
good run of
Of really
things, but
positive news. Like we did
yeah.
have a stretch. It was like Q1 was okay. Q2 was no. Did we come in hot?
Mm-mm.
No, Q1 was shitty
I feel like
news.
we came in pretty hot. Yeah.
Q2, the
Yeah.
beginning was shitty news. We started to come out of it. Summer was pretty decent.
Yeah.
And now we're
Yeah.
back.
We're
School's in
back.
session
We're back.
and we're back to the shitty news. But positive
Important
news,
news.
important news.
Important news.
Team LGBTQ plus for the Paris Paralympics. We got the people, just like we rooted for Team LGBTQ plus for the Olympics. We're gonna cheer on Team LGBTQ plus for the Paralympics. And this continues to be covered by Outsports. So shout out to them for doing the work and making sure that the list is staying as up to date as possible. I'm sure we'll have updates in the future. But continuing our coverage of Team LGBTQ athletes. So we're recording on a Tuesday for this. So the Paralympics will start tomorrow, the 28th. And there will be at least 32 publicly out LGBTQ athletes competing. There were 36 out Paralympians in Tokyo 21 and 12 in Rio in 2016. So it's really exciting to see that these numbers are staying high. There will be swimmers, para triathletes, wheelchair sprinters, para judoka, wheelchair basketball. The wheelchair basketball team is fairly queer, which tracks for our community. But there have been a lot of really great stories about them and their background and all of the things. And I'm talking women's basketball, obviously. So there are many other sports that folks will be competing in. Again, the games run from August 28th to September 8th. It will feature 4,400 athletes with a record 1,983 women competing, and there will be 22 sports and 549 medal events. So get your fix. Watch the Paralympics. Go to Outsports and find out the names of all of the queer Paralympics so that you can root on Team LGBTQ.
Yeah. It's exciting. I like the attention paid and the athletes that just finished their games, being like, it's not over. We got the Paralympics coming up. So
Yes.
check it out. Root for Team LGBTQ and all that. Yeah, okay. One note, it is actually Edward Blum, not Larry. Shout
Mm,
out to Larry Blum's around, but Edward Blum
mm.
is the legal strategist that's leading the affirmative action. Um, he had some other things that came up when I went back to Google it. So Edward Blum
Edward
leading,
Blum.
and Edward and
What up,
Robbie
Eddie?
Starbuck. So
Eddie and Robbie.
Eddie and Robbie.
Mm.
All right. Well, let's move on to our advice segment. Am I a bad queer? Where we get real with your questions and dilemmas. If you got something on your mind, don't keep it to yourself.
Don't keep
Send your
it.
questions. Don't keep it. Send your questions to badqueers.com or hit us up on IG at badqueerspod or email us at badqueers@badqueers.com. All right. This first one is from Sincerely a Frustrated Lesbian, and that will be your name. I like Am I a bad queer for wanting to be smarter about how I date? But I truly don't know how to do that. All of these apps are filled with scammers, unicorn seekers, and narcissists. How can I improve my dating odds so I can stop getting matched with all these fake people? Sincerely, a frustrated lesbian. I'm probably not the most informed on this. Smarter about how I date. I mean, don't be on the apps. I don't know.
Don't be on the
Expand. Don't
apps.
be on the apps.
I'm
Yeah, these
hollering.
I mean, you got to use it because that's what it is. But maybe yeah, employ some different strategies of where you refresh this dating pool and date and all that. And it definitely doesn't have to do with apps. Always look for like kind of like-minded events, if you aren't into partying and all that, where you'll meet people inevitably. I don't know if you live in a big town or small town, but there's also online groups that you could, find community in. So I wouldn't rely on the apps
Don't
because
rely on
from
the
what I
apps.
hear,
Don't rely on them.
it does have a lot of scammers, unicorn seekers, and narcissists and other crazy people. But they also are matching folks, so they work, just not all the time.
Not all the time.
So yeah, so I would expand past the apps is what I would say. Um, yeah. What about you, Shayna?
Yes. I'm going to pause really fast because I forgot to plug in a charger and I got to run and get one.
Okay.
And then I'll answer. Whoop. Oh. Don't die. Oh my goodness. Okay, we're back. We did it.
All right.
That alert popped up and I panicked. I was like, oh no,
About to
no.
go.
All right. All right. I think the places that Kris said are very accurate and all the things. I think at some point it really does become a community effort. Having friends, introduce friends, going and joining sports groups, trivia nights, meetups, concerts that are going to be clearly queer. Kaylani's going on tour that is going to be prime for the picking because
Gonna be out there.
all of the ones that you've never seen before are going to pop out of nowhere and you got to go and do your research and just float around the crowd, You're not there to see Kaylani, you're there to find your wife. So make moves around the space and
Go
do
in with intention. I could cheer, but I'm here
Yes.
to find my wife.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes you just gotta trust
I could cheer, but not too, don't get too crazy. Don't get
Don't get
wrapped
too
up in the
crazy.
music. You're
Okay.
there
You were there.
to find your wife. It's like
Okay.
coming to America at a
Yeah.
Kehlani concert. Just
Because that's really what it is. Like, yeah, you just have to start. It's definitely has to become a community effort. And I hope that you are also bold enough and brave enough to walk up to people, introduce yourself, not just wait for something to happen to you. It sounds like you are on a mission. And I just want you to take that mission outside of your phone. So go see a comedy show, join these groups, have your friends introduce you to other friends. If your friends play sports and you don't like playing sports, go watch them play sports. Then you could be a
just be
wag.
around.
You could be a
Just be
wife and a
around.
girlfriend on the sideline, a wag. We love wags. They're great. Um, so yeah, just expand your reach. This is how you be smarter. You go in with a strategy and then execute on said strategy. You got this.
Love that.
Don't go to a Kehlani concert to watch Kehlani. What?
Don't. What are you spending money on to see the act?
What?
Yeah,
You have to
right.
invest in your love
What?
life is what you have to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. Look, if there's a WNBA team around you, pay
Okay,
that
another
money.
spot.
Pay that money to go.
If there's an
You know?
NWSL team around you, go
There you
play it.
go. There
If
you
you
go.
haven't seen
There
the
you go.
Athletes
Even
Unlimited, those
more.
are dedicated queers that are
That's
going to
coming.
be
There's
at
other
those
leagues popping
games.
up, but
Yes.
you need to be around.
Softball and
Yeah.
volleyball are growing
Yeah.
and they're starting to get professional leagues and things. So you're going to want to be at those games too. Okay.
hmm
It's an investment,
I like breweries, um, wineries, a
you
lot of
know,
places you can find queer people nowadays.
we're there.
So off the app, so people are out.
I believe in you.
People are out. Hmm
Thanks for writing in, Frustrated Lesbian. I hope this helps remove some frustrations.
Happy fall.
All right. Our next Am I a Bad Queer comes from Elisa. Elisa says, Am I a bad queer for loving my long distance relationship and hating it when it's in person? I'm not sure if it's because I enjoy the space or if it's because we are just incredibly awkward in person. Our conversations are always better when we aren't in the same room. It feels easier. Even the sexting is better than the actual sex.
Mm. Oh,
Do
Jesus.
I keep it going or do I break up with her and search for someone else?
Mm. So, Lord Jesus, not the sexting is better than the actual sex. Mm.
That is,
Right?
wow, that's rough.
Yeah.
That's rough.
Mm.
I mean, is
And
it?
Elsa has to take some responsibility in that too.
That's what I'm
Takes
wondering.
two.
I
Takes
like it
two.
does.
Takes
It
two.
does.
Takes
I'm
two.
just like, what?
So.
What are you contributing to this? Or, like, why is it
Mhm.
so awkward when it's in person? What are
Mhm.
you doing to alleviate? There's so many more questions I want to ask you and hear more about, but I think, just going off of your side and what you have sent us, is it serving a purpose? Are you like happy with that? Because it doesn't feel like it's enough for you. If you're writing in us saying that like only the distance part of the things are good, but all the in-person stuff isn't, do you really want to be in that relationship? Or do you just really like the attention? Because that's what it sounds like,
A
is
lot of
that,
benefits with it.
you always, that you always have that person who's going to send you those texts. And it's always going to be on your phone, is always going to be texting you and saying what's up and then sending you cute little hot things. And, we get addicted to that a little bit, having that person on your phone. Like, it's fun. It's fun. The attention is great, but if it's not serving the full context of what you're hoping for, then I'd probably say stop and break up with them and search for someone else. But I think you should take some time to figure out why you're just okay with going through this for a while.
Yeah. I wonder how long they've been
That too.
dating. Because
That too.
and
There's
how
so many
often you see
questions.
each other in person because, like, over time, y'all should warm up and it
Mm-hmm.
not be as awkward, which I think, take responsibility for with saying we are just incredibly awkward in person. Um, so I don't know how often y'all are seeing each other. I don't know how long this relationship has been, but yeah, maybe this is not as serious as a relationship as it really is.
Mm-hmm.
If y'all aren't clicking in person yet, like, you know, um, yeah, it should get better. And then the sexing being better than the actual sex is like, yeah, uh, the culmination of the red flags. It might be the icing on the cake. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know. In person, maybe not. Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. So I don't know. Definitely some questions to ask. Ask your person how they're feeling about that too. And
Mm-hmm.
y'all could work on that. I mean, y'all pay attention and put the effort in. Uh, but that is it's concerning. That is something.
That is
It's not,
something.
it's not nothing.
Not nothing.
Not nothing. So yeah. Well, hope that helps. Also,
Y'all could have seen Kris's face in that moment. Like, oof,
Happy,
all right.
happy fall. Figuring that out. So
Okay. I know, right
yeah, shout
before
out to
cuffing
space. I
season.
mean,
This is
everybody loves
time.
space though. Shout out to space. Like,
People,
space works in a relationship, but if y'all are like when y'all get together, it hasn't
yeah.
worked up
Like
and it's
I do feel like long distance is very good for the lesbians because of our
I think we do it pretty
U-Haul
well. I think we do pretty well.
nature. So I think actually forcing us to be away from each other is helpful to push the community forward for us to
Hmm.
realize that hey,
Hmm.
we don't have to do everything together and that we can be independent people and live healthy lives.
Pushes the community forward. It's funny. It does though. But I mean, it is the whole absence makes the heart grow fonder thing too. Like it is
Hmm.
very, you got to be very intentional and responsible when you are long distance. But yeah, that in person, whew, I don't know.
Hmm.
Talk about it to your partner. Um, this last one is from Anon. We'll say Anon's name is I keep coming up with like basic names in my head, like Amy. And I'm like, that sounds so lame.
I
I
know.
can't I
We got
can't
to
think
start
of
having just
anything.
like
Yeah.
a list of names next
I
to us so that we
know
can
we
do it for the
do.
culture. Also hit
Yeah.
unique ones.
Yeah.
Also hit
Let's
like
like, all right, Ezra.
Ezra. That's a
Ezra,
good
let's just
one.
go. That's a good one. Yeah. All right. Hey y'all, I got invited to a queer themed wedding and they're asking everyone to rock some gender bending or gender expansive outfits. The problem is that's not really my vibe. I'm not sure if I could pull it off. Am I bad queer if I just stick to my usual style? How can I show my support without stepping too far out of my comfort zone? Ezra. Hmm. This seems like an Ezra question. Um, hmm. It's like, would I want to wear a dress to wedding because it was requested. I feel like these are like these are requests, not require. It's not a requirement
Hmm.
on the invitation. I don't know if people require that. Usually they, if they want you to wear a color, you know, you will do that and accommodate that. But wearing a certain color is not the same as like being uncomfortable in a dress. I don't know if I would want to wear a dress if I got this invitation. I would want to wear a suit
Hmm.
regardless. Maybe I might do something. Maybe you do something with it that it's not so masculine, or if it makes you that uncomfortable, either don't go or just say, hey, this is a cute idea. I'm just more comfortable wearing whatever you want to wear.
Hmm.
And your friend should be okay with that. But yeah, you can have fun with it, or you can wear what you wear and just let them know. And I don't think it shouldn't be a big deal. Because I think this is more of a hey, this is what we would like y'all to wear, but it's not like where you can't get into the ceremony if you're not, adhering to it. So
Hmm.
yeah. Yeah. Whatever you're comfortable with, you can kind of fem up a suit or a masculine look a little bit just to like give a nod to it,
Hmm.
or wear what you want to wear, or don't go. It's really those three things. Don't go.
You're
You
like
don't have to go to the
totally fine
wedding.
with this.
Send a
Totally fine with
gift.
this.
Send a gift. I'm telling you, as a person who's married, send a gift. Send money.
Send a gift.
You don't have to go. Just say no. So just send a gift. Yeah. So those are really the options, Ezra.
That's so funny. That's so funny. All right, Ezra, I'm going to take it from a slightly different perspective. They probably encourage this so that folks could feel like this is a safe space that they're coming to and a safe type of wedding that they're coming to. And they want to encourage people to wear whatever they want to wear. And I think a lot of people dress really conservatively for weddings because they don't
Yeah.
want to, you don't want to upstage the bride in a stereotypical wedding and things like that. And the brides get all upset when somebody else looks better than them. Where I
Hmm.
think with this, they're like,
They come right
come
on up.
be your fabulous self, wear whatever outfit you want. Fuck the gender binary. This is going to be like a gay ass, queer ass wedding. And that's kind of what they want. So I think you just coming in your outfit as a queer person will already be expansive enough because you're going to show up as yourself. If you want to wear a little pin, if you want to get like some sort of headband thing, if you want to do it in your accessories, you want to do it with like maybe you get like a purse that says something, on it. We have no idea what your identity is. So I'm just, going off of that. If you want to wear a hat that does something, if
Come
you're
on,
like
stylist.
switching up, okay. I was like, if you want to switch up the tie
Yeah,
and make it like
options.
something different instead of like wearing your suit with a shirt underneath, you could wear it with no shirt and like maybe a mesh top. Like there are cute ways to go about it.
She by
That,
Shayna.
okay. That's
That
the
would be
nicest
fun.
thing you've ever said to me. Thank you so much. Like, come on.
You're
These
so
outfits are coming off the
stupid,
top of the
yo.
dome.
Yeah, they
Like,
are
come
though.
on.
Go ahead.
So there are fun ways to do that. And you could go to the store, tell somebody, go to a store that has like queer folks definitely working or friends who do this very well. And, they'll help you out.
Mhm.
They'll play with the things and they'll do the stuff. And then you don't have to think about it too hard. But I was
Yeah.
like, do the things that feel good for you, because that's the main thing. I think you saying this makes you feel like, oh, I'm not going to go in there queer enough. And you're queer, so you're enough.
Oh, see, yeah. I like that. That's way better than send a gift.
You're
It's
like,
like,
send a
don't
gift or
go.
don't go. And I'm
Don't
like,
go.
I'm going to come from a different
Don't
angle.
go, send a gift. You're like, or balance. Balance. And
Why we
that
bring it all
is
together.
our advice segment. Am I a bad queer? Send your questions to us at backwards.com or hit us up on IG at backwardspod or email us at backwards@backwards.com.
All right. What type of bad queers would we be if we didn't have unpopular queer opinions? I just want to circle back to this. I think when we had Bob the drag queen on, that he mentioned this, but also just a regular reminder that gay men, if you haven't realized that you couldn't survive without queer women, then you are the problem. I repeat, if you haven't realized that you could not survive without queer women, gay men, then you are the problem. I have had so many problematic engagements, interactions, discussions with gay men lately, and it's driving me nuts. And I'm like, you clearly have no queer women friends. You are just out here being the man in your life, not adding any women into your life, and just letting it be. And it is very obvious. It is very clear. Even just this past week, I took 2 of my gay guy friends out to like a sushi rotary spot, and they had never done that before. The joy that they felt going to a sushi rotary spot.
Like a
If you all,
rotating,
yes,
rotating
yeah,
belt.
I was like,
Oh,
if you
those
all
are
have never
so
been,
great.
sushi comes
It's
out
so
on the belt.
wonderful.
The plates are a certain color. It tells you how much it is. You can grab whatever you want.
Cool.
If you want to order something specific, they have a cute little train that will bring it to you, and it just brings you joy. It's like it's like a play
Lovely
place
experience
for adults, and it's not like super costly. It's also a really great date opportunity
really
as
is.
well.
It is.
So, and they just experience joy, and I was like, you all have never experienced this, and they were like, no, and I'm like, you're welcome for continuing to level up your life.
Yeah.
They left. They had like 15 plates between them. It was great. I love that for them.
They could eat. You know, did you uncover that maybe there's a quiet epidemic of like the queer women and gay men friendship is dropping? You know how they sounded the fake alarm on like mask and studs are disappearing. Where it was like, what? What do you mean?
We're like, where?
Where? So, but it is a real thing. Like they're just
Yeah.
like they're disappearing. And it's like, no, they're not.
No, they're not.
Are you
Actually coming out in
uncovering the
droves.
fake drop in friendships between lesbians and gay guys?
We're gonna say
Or
that
women in general.
we're gonna do a fake breaking news that this is an
Insider
epidemic
look.
that gay men need more queer women friends in their lives.
Yeah. And vice versa. There's a lot that we get from them too, but they absolutely will lose their mind from time to time. The
Yes.
misogyny will get in there.
It really will.
It's
And
there.
the amount that
It's
I
there.
hold my guy friends accountable and have to like just say stuff where I'm just like, did you hear yourself? And then they're like, what? And I'm like, reflect on it and come back, because why am I grossed out and you're not? Like, and then they think and they come back with what they think went wrong. And I'm just like, wow. Like, not that queer women have to like save all of us, but it's just like your livelihood exponentially lifts up when you have us in your life.
Yeah.
Okay. I just built a bed last night.
That's so
my gay guy friends could never.
the the bed was the example. You're like, they couldn't do that.
They couldn't do that.
There's no way. You're
There's
like,
no
there's
way.
no
And
way.
you know who I
No
called when I
way.
actually needed help with the bed?
A
Another queer
lesbian?
woman.
Yeah. Yeah.
To be like, hey, I got stuck on this one part. You've built beds. And they're like,
Mm,
multiple. Great.
mm, mm.
Because that's what I would call. I called my guy friend and he's like, I've never done any of that. And I'm like, yeah, you're correct.
That's
You're
so
correct.
interesting. Now I want to switch my back for opinion now.
Mm.
Because I do. I really do.
You're gonna change
I'm
it?
ready to go into
You're
it.
changing your
Yeah.
life? Oh,
Yeah, I
I'm so
am
excited. Yeah, we can save
because
this discussion that you have for
yeah,
your back
this
for
the
opinion
other
is
discussion
evergreen.
we're gonna bring that up.
Evergreen.
But I want to dispel the notion that masculine lesbians need to know how to build things. Like stop that harmful stereotype because for the silent majority that don't, like me,
Mm.
like I'm not your Bob the Builder. Like my father is very disappointed. I was on all of his he was such a builder and tinker and all that. And I handed the tools over. So I do know tools. But do I want to build or put things up? No. No, I don't. And I shouldn't have to be pressured to know how to put these things up when I can pay somebody to do it. Or someone else can do it that's better at that. Because
Mm-hmm.
also, I don't want to damage the walls.
Yep.
I don't want to create bigger problems
Correct.
instead of just admitting, hey, this isn't my lane. But I can like lift heavy things. Like we need to do that. Like I could do the V sit and reach, all that other stuff,
Not the
physical
V sit
fitness,
and reach.
all that. I could do that. I could do some pull-ups. But I don't know how to build shit. And I feel like we need to talk about the silent majority studs, mass people who don't. Like we don't. And we shouldn't have to. So I just want to put that out there because I know there's a lot of us out there. And I want us to stop trying to hang the TV on the wall because we can't. It doesn't matter if we watch YouTube videos about it. Like, it's not our lane. So stop damaging the walls, be who you are. And that's it. So it starts with me. It starts with me. So I just want to put that message out into the world and let them know that they're not alone. We suffer together.
That was beautiful, friend.
Yeah. I just want to shine a light.
Yes. Because people need to
Yeah.
know. Look, I think each of us have our strengths.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be everything. Because like you said, there are services. There's even services where we could hire queer people to do the work that we want. And
There
you're
we
putting
go.
the money back into the community. So really, you're pulling on your strengths there. And that's fantastic.
Feeding two birds with one scone, if you will.
Okay. Yes.
You know?
Feeding all the people. Like me,
Yeah.
I don't mind building stuff because I love following instructions.
Mm. Mm-mm.
Okay. I love following a good instruction and seeing the results. It brings me joy. It brings me joy. I love a good instruction. IKEA instructions bring me joy. People get stressed
Really?
by IKEA ones. I'm like, yo, this is a fucking picture book and I can do that. I can
I
put
think
that
just
together.
Lego instructions are the only ones that don't make me, like, ugh.
Legos are a fun time. I actually have less
Good
patience
time.
for Lego stuff.
Really?
That's the
But
thing.
it's
So
fun.
it's
It's
like,
creative.
no, it is a good
That's so
time. And when I can
interesting.
sit and do the stuff, I'm like, cool. But I just don't, it doesn't bring me, like, I don't get
Fascinating.
pulled into the Lego building,
Mhm.
but I know that, like, me building furniture, I'm like, I can do that. I mean, I'll get it perfect every time,
Mhm.
but it's going to be set up and it's not going to fall apart. And I know when to call for help. Those are things.
Yeah.
But I hate hanging up photos. I hate hanging up shelves. I will, whenever I get to those parts, I'm going to call friends or I'm going to call other people. I hate doing that stuff.
Yeah.
I hate gardening.
Yeah.
I don't like to do the gardening. I was like, I don't mind watering the plants.
Yeah.
That's really all I got. And I'm like, there's the queer gardeners. We need you.
Yeah. We need y'all. Yeah, I
Anytime
don't like
anything
bugs.
breaks with like plumbing
Outside.
or anything like that, like I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But there are queers who know. So we
Yeah.
all have our strengths.
We
And we
really
just
do.
get to lean into them because it's a community effort.
Yeah. Wow. What a positive way to end the episode and just, again, shining a light on the folks and
Shining
just
a
a
light.
really positive feedback on that. Thank you so much for that. You should
Thank you.
coach something.
I would love to. I
Coach
actually really
something.
would.
Yeah.
Just coaching the Bob the Stud Builders of the world.
Something. There we go. You got the name. That sounds like a flag team or a
That should. Oh my God, I'm gonna
drag
hold on to that.
dance group
I'm
or
gonna hold on to
something.
that for something. Oh my God, Bob the Stud Builder.
Yeah, it could be like a
Ah, that's brilliant.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna use it for something. I don't know
drag
what
daddy stud
is gonna happen.
troop. Something.
Drag Daddy Stud Troop.
Mm-hmm.
I'll
Something.
bring it. I'll bring it up to the people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you for that. All right. Wow, what an affirming way to wrap up this episode. It was quick. It was efficient. We're out here. Sometimes we just got to give y'all quick and efficient things. So let's go ahead and wrap up the show. But you know we would never leave you without giving shout outs to our faves. My shout out this week goes to Yes Homo. It is an edgy queer brand for bold, confident, and sexy homos. They are coming out with new apparel this fall. They've been dropping teasers on their Instagram. That stuff might be even coming sooner, but fall is just around the corner. So keep an eye out by following at yeshomo.co on IG.
All right. My shout out is to Another Brooklyn, a novel by Jacqueline Woodson. I haven't read this, but this was recommended to me. It is about an anthropologist who looks back on her past to understand the death of her mother and the loss of her closest friends. Another Brooklyn is a novel about love and memory, and of course, about Brooklyn. And it's set in the 70s and Black queer books. So,
Love
gonna
it.
recommend it. Yeah.
Yes.
You can follow the author on IG at Jacqueline_Woodson. And you can buy the book where you get books.
Well, there we go. All right, y'all. Well, thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you next week.
Take care.